Hey, Billy, can you hear me okay? Right on, man. We could do this. So the Twitter Spaces works. I just have to join to speak from my phone, and then I can run it the same way through OBS. So if you want to do that in the future, we can do either one, man.
Notifies everybody that I'm in a space so they can join in. But I could just share the YouTube thing, and if they see it, they can join. If not, no big deal. But it's kind of like, oh, this guy's in a space. Let me hop in. So it lets everybody else know that there's a space going on.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you do it consistently, there'd be a pretty solid number of people, I'm sure, that would click on over.
Yeah. We'll just have to get a good test run on it just to make sure that everything's working with OBS. Because I think you're doing it with Paul on the spaces, right? But you're not talking.
Correct. And so if I join on my phone, I can speak, and then I'll just join with a different account from my desktop, and then I'll be able to pull it. So we can experiment. I think either way would be cool. We could even do if you wanted to migrate over halfway, if there's a few people on the server, we could experiment tonight. It's up to you, man.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll just show the YouTube right now. That way they can just get more users on the YouTube too if they see it. If not, they can always catch the recap or catch some other stuff too.
Definitely. That sounds good, man.
It's about exposure to everything.
100%. How's your week been, man, so far?
Chaotic, but it's good. There's so many things to do, and then I have to take off for a day. So I'm like,
You got real life stuff?
Yeah. Some family stuff too. So I'm like, all right, we got to go take a little mini vacay.
Word. It's necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you want to start with?
Do you have a link for the live stream right now? Because I follow the Web Hype one, but I don't usually get the live stream.
Yeah, so we have a separate channel on YouTube for the live stream because it wasn't possible on the other. So if you go to YouTube and you type in 1HTV, it should be the first thing that comes up, which means we have a good channel name, I think. 1HTV channel. We should be streaming there live. And Gem to Ernesto, Dulce, and Crazy Frog for joining us here on the server tonight.
What up, guys? I'm gonna keep looking right now because I see the One Hype TV Spotlight Token Engineering Commons.
Let me see. Go in a second.
Sure thing.
So if you on YouTube, if you just search 1HTV.
1HTV.
Sorry, yeah. I did a better job of enunciating. We should actually, the first search, you should see Late Night with Billyjitsu. We're live now.
Got it. Yeah, I see it. Okay, let me share it on there.
Right on, man. I'll do the same. Let's see.
Cool. Don't worry, guys. The show's coming. Okay? Relax.
So you push it out and I'll retweet. How about that? We could...
okay, cool.
We can do it from the Twitter, YouTube too. We got a good lineup. Billy put together quite a nice list of stories for tonight.
For sure. I pushed it out. You can go ahead and we can start. We need to have intro music, T-Wells, I need to have like a drum roll or something.
Yeah. What do you feel like? What do you enjoy for music, by the way? We can talk and make sure we get.
I'm like everything that's crazy music. Okay, we could change it up every time. We could have death metal music. It could be like crazy hip hop. Can be EDM. Could be anything. We just surprise everybody. I'm multicultural.
Word.
We could have your drug music. It's all good.
Yeah, right. Oh, you go. You know who I saw was coming, and I got tickets to 2 years ago, and then they got canceled, and I forgot. Rage Against the Machine is touring this summer.
Oh,
I'm a Rage fan. I'm looking forward to that show.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people. Yeah, it's just one of those. The lead singer just stood by his values and said, "Nah, I'm out."
Yeah, man, they're crazy live show. I saw them years ago, and they stir up a bit of a riot. I'll stay at the fringes.
Yeah,
just observe.
I hear you. So are we live? Are people listening? Are we tuning in?
Live.
Is this it?
We are live, sir.
Excellent. All right. So for those that don't know, this is Billyjitsu Late Night. Okay, if I offend you, I apologize to nobody. I make fun of everybody and everything. So I speak my mind. I just say what people think. Okay, so that's the tempo of the day. So we cover Dutch topics. It's every 2 weeks, every second Tuesday, I guess, or whatever. You know, every 2 weeks from today is what happens. And I just gather the latest topics, the hot topics that are in everybody's mind. I discuss them from a dev point of view and a regular person point of view. I need to learn how to speak now. You know. So I'd like to start off with the first topic because everybody loves NFTs. I'm going to talk about the NFTs, man. Moonbirds, AkuDreams, Akutars, Ape token, all that stuff happening now. Like Moonbirds is like the whole NFT world, I feel, is shifting towards like a VC kind of dominated type of system right now. So like if I'm going to invest as an investor and I don't care about the artwork, I'm going to look for any VC funded, NFT, and I'm going to try to get on that whitelist and flip, because that seems like to be the move to make. So basically, if you're poor, too bad. But it's just that's the way it is right now. Like that's the way the hype train's working, because Moonbirds were 2.5 ETH per drop, and then if you had the whitelist, you had the early mint. But 2.5 ETH is not cheap. You're looking at like what is it, 3-6, about $7,000-$8,000 to drop on an NFT. It did go to like almost like 32 ETH or something. The new floor is around 27. So if you bought at the top, too bad. But you're talking like massive volume of trade volume. I think they made over $1 million in royalties just on the volume back and forth. And that leads to questions like, well, there's really only 300,000 wallets, on OpenSea back and forth. And a lot of users, are kind of locked up on existing NFTs. So where is that liquidity coming from? And that has to be VC money, going back and forth. When you can fudge the numbers, you can fudge the floor. I can make 20 wallets and then buy from myself over and over again and keep raising the floor. And people are like, damn, look at this is the new floor. I'm going to buy in because it's the hype. And you pay 2.5% from OpenSea, but what you get in return to flip it is just like insane. So like if I had an NFT project and I was playing that game, I'd buy from myself over and over again and keep raising the floor.
Sounds like some of these older tokens with fake volume that are like top on the market cap.
Yeah, for sure. So but that seems to be the name of the game now. Any VC funded, NFT project like AkuDreams, what they started at 3 or 3.5 ETH. They did a Dutch auction style, which turned out to be an absolute disaster. They actually got, I think, $34 million in ETH stuck on their contract.
Oh my God.
They again, another, like, I think it's a baseball player that has deals with Nike, Puma, whoever, a bunch of deals. So you're talking big baller money. But they were warned about their contract, saying, hey, there's a flaw in the contract for the refunds on the Dutch auction. So basically you bought it for 3 or 3.5 ETH, I can't remember. And if the final price ended up being lower, they would refund you. But what happens is in their contract, they have this this sequential number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have a refund system. But if the refund doesn't complete, then it cannot continue. So what happens is they got warned about the flaw in the contract. They said, no, that's FUD. It's a feature, blah, blah, blah. Well, then some random developer said, nope. And he locked the contract. And he did it with a really simple contract that just kind of holds the funds and doesn't release it. So now they can't continue, or they can't call the withdrawal function. They can't call any function because it's stuck on that one step. So it's like we're crossing a bridge and there's one missing piece right in the middle. I could see the other side, but I can't reach it. So until this person actually lets that transaction go through, the whole contract is stuck, and the team's $34 million is stuck on that contract indefinitely. So, in order to save
Which project was this again? This wasn't Moonbird, though.
Oh, the AkuDreams?
AkuDreams.
No, that's not Moonbird. Moonbirds is still kind of floating, and they have their whole nesting thing. Anybody that bought at 32 ETH, I feel for you. But, they have the nesting thing that's going to pay out. This is the AkuDreams from Akutar. So, that's their latest drop. They've got 10 drops. So what they're going to do is they're actually refunding from the bank. So, in order to save face and get trust from the users, they're gonna pull out from their bank account, buy ETH, and refund all the users manually without, taking the $34 million loss. I'm pretty sure they're going to do like some kind of bounty or pay off the guy to, get some of it. I mean, because it'd be stupid to leave $34 million in ETH locked up because of pride. So they're probably going to do it under the, when everything kind of the dust settles and no one's really paying attention anymore. That's probably when they're going to do it. But yeah, I mean, again, VC funded, as soon as you screw somebody, you lose all faith from your users. It's worth it for them to pull out. This is like their 11th or 12th drop, and they've made tons of money. So it's not like they don't have the money to do so, but then it's telling you, hey, VC funded, projects are safe because if it goes wrong, they still cover you. And that's kind of the narrative that's happening in the NFT space. And then, yeah. And then like with Ape Token, I mean, there was a huge hack for their Instagram. People like their Instagram got hacked. So they displayed something on Instagram. Hey, go to this new website and connect for land or anything like that. So like they had like over, I think 6 different apes, couple of the mutants, and a couple other pets got stolen because people connected their wallet and approved it. But now they're asking for KYC to buy whatever they're trying to buy. A lot of people are kind of estimating like land or anything that you can buy with Ape Token, but they're asking for KYC. So it's like, all right, your Discord got hacked, your Instagram got hacked, but yet you're supposed to trust you with my information to get land or whatever. So I'm like, like, is this a trust me, bro, kind of thing? You're not going to hold the data. Then why do you want the data? And that's where it gets kind of, sticky about this stuff. And again, these are all big money projects. These are all, I mean, Ape Token has been amazing. It's like, if you bought into Ape Token and airdropped it, you've made a ton of money. It's had a huge run up because of all the speculation. So, I mean, anybody that did KYC is going to be on there and everybody's happy and everybody's going to feel that FOMO. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, whether you did it or not, there's always that chance of it's already been hacked twice, maybe 3 times. You're really going to give someone your information that's kind of fucked up that many times?
Oh my God. So how did the Insta
and then happen? In the other NFTs, they just stole their account.
Straight
up. Yeah, they just took over the Instagram account and it just made a post. Here's a new website. Click this link for the thing. And so anybody following on Instagram wants to be the first one to do it so they can get whatever. And so they just connected their wallet, approved, and their NFT was stolen.
Interesting. I'm curious how they gained access to the Insta account. I mean, is there a specific individual that was phished or something? I'm curious.
I mean, in the world of front-end technology, it's not a matter of if they're going to get hacked, it's a matter of when. So you can have all the security in the world, but there's the ounce of human error. Like I work in IT security. I work with a lot of studios that do like work with big pictures like Sony, Paramount, all that stuff. So they have a crazy tight security system where we have to do multiple layers of security. This, that, I need to wear a badge, no phones, all this stuff. But things still get stolen because someone, like left the door open, something that human error, stupidity is something that you can't fix. So something as simple as, an email account that controls an Insta account can easily be manipulated. We don't know how secure Instagram is or how the email works. Facebook accounts get hacked all the time. So, it's like AOL gets hacked all the time. So it's, it's just a matter of when. And that's pretty much it. So anytime you put your information on somewhere, if billion-dollar corporations, we don't know how deep there are in security, would you trust a $1 million corporation to keep your data safe?
Right, it's wild. It's an incredible phishing attack, I guess, against all Ape users, essentially, or holders, followers, etc. Huh? I mean, if the account, itself is telling you to connect your wallet, who do you trust?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said I don't trust anybody. I mean, I don't want to say don't connect your wallet. Like, don't be scared. Like, the narrative is don't connect your wallet, don't do anything. I think it's more the power of education towards something. Like, connecting your wallet will not start a transaction. Approving something through your wallet is going to fuck you up. It's like when my mom used to tell me, don't turn on the backlight on the car because it's illegal. And then like for years, I thought I would get a ticket if I turned that light on. But it was just something she told me to be scared of. And then for my whole life, I never did it until I was like, wait, that's not illegal. So it's kind of like the same thing as like, oh, don't connect your wallets. Well, just teach people what what they need to learn to do it. So you can connect your wallet to the site. I mean, I don't recommend it, but the point where you actually hit the approve and you sign it off is where the actual damage happens. So, if you feel shady, I have a secondary wallet. Anytime I feel kind of funky, like, what is this? I have this burner wallet that has no money in it, and I just connect it, and I just kind of check around to see what it is. And if I feel safe, then I'll connect my real wallet that has, whatever I want to, interact with. But, no one's talking about that, like nobody's saying, hey, have a burner wallet or anything. People still walk around like, you don't walk around with your whole life savings in your wallet and then you get robbed in the corner of a dark alley. You have your money in a bank account, have your assets in a ledger or some other kind of device, some hardware device, and then you have your wallet with walk around money. I have a regular mobile wallet with walk around stuff. Like if I lose $20, $40, yeah, whatever, but I didn't lose my like a whole life savings because of one stupid transaction. And that should be the narrative of what everybody's doing. Just separate that. Have multiple wallets. That's no big deal. They're free.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on like periodically revoking all permissions or revoking all approvals? And I know there are tools now that make that easier.
Oh yeah, I use DBank. There's also so DBank is one website. There's another one. Gosh, I can't remember it. It's those guys that have the pill. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna bother me now. I'm gonna try to look this up in a minute, but I have to push the talk. But there's a couple sites that will help you revoke. But then there's also rogue sites. So when you hit revoke, you're giving approval to them too as well. So it's kind of like this whole like you can't be safe anywhere. This is like the Wild West. I say don't trust anybody. Even tell T-Wells, you should be telling me to fuck off. You say, yeah, I don't trust you either. That should be the narrative. It's about education and being strong, like being confident enough to be like, all right, I kind of know what I'm doing, and that should be the narrative. Teach people to tell other people to say fuck off. You can't trust me. This is a trustless nation. We're the Wild West. Like if you serve me, you step on my shoe, I'm going to shoot you.
Well, and education is such an important part, as you're saying here. I think the burner wallet's a great idea. I mean, I sort of default to. Just you create an extra account in your MetaMask, right? And just
yes.
Use
well,
that
one thing to notice that. Yeah. One thing to talk about that too, and this is something I didn't know until I started developing. And actually, I just looked it up. The other website is Zapper.fi.
Sure.
You could check out You're Connected. Yeah, that's a good spot too. But one thing that is about wallets is, and one thing we got to know is when you create your first wallet and you have that passphrase, and that's on that same MetaMask, when you create another wallet, it's based on that passphrase. So not the private key, but that passphrase, those 12 words. So every time you create a new wallet off that same passphrase, if that passphrase gets compromised, then all those wallets have the risk of being fucked. So you have to make a new MetaMask wallet from a new browser with a new passphrase. Otherwise, if that gets compromised, all of them are compromised. You don't feel safe.
Right. Now, question here: if you have a MetaMask wallet and you import a hardware wallet, right, and that MetaMask is compromised in some way, the hardware is still protected relative to those others that are more not imported but created within the.
Well, yeah. So the difference is the hardware wallet, you never see the private keys in a sense. Now you do get your passphrase, and that never really touches the system, but that is not generated by MetaMask. So when you have, like, let's say I have a ledger. So when you get it, you have all these addresses to pick from that are already preset based on the passphrase there. So if you do fuck up your passphrase on your ledger, all those addresses on that ledger are also compromised too. Now they'd have to match the private key to the public, but I mean they're way ahead of the game versus not knowing your private key.
Right.
So there's always that risk, but it's $60, guys, man. If you're dropping, spending 1 ETH on an NFT, spend $60, man. Just do it.
Hardware wallet, Jesus, yeah.
This is financial advice, guys. Yeah. Financial advice.
Financial advice. Have a cold wallet too, right? I mean, have something that's probably.
Just have more than one wallet. So like people have like wallets in their sock or something because they're going through a bad neighborhood. Sometimes they put money in their bra. Like just have a spare location where you keep something safe. That's it. Don't put it all in one wallet. That's all. That's the best advice I can give you. Anyways, going back on. Also, news: Coinbase NFT finally dropped their beta, so their marketplace on there. And they've already shown their hand about centralized. So, they had their beta and everybody could sign up for their own username and everything. And lo and behold, some influencer and a couple famous people with some clout didn't get their name because somebody else got there first. Coinbase took it away from the person that got it first and gave it to the whiners. So there we go. Another case of centralization of preference, in a sense. Do they deserve it? Whatever. Maybe there were some phishing scams or anything like that, but it's not fair. It's first come, first serve, in my opinion. And if you were late, you could buy it from them.
Yeah. No, that's the mediation is definitely problematic, right? This is I'm looking at your list of Cronje and other people, and it's like, yeah, the ethos is definitely trampled by the culture.
Yeah, definitely. It's a regular NFT marketplace. I thought they were going to do something a little bit better to kill the competition, but really it's just a social media thing. So now I can talk shit about people's NFTs, or I can pressure someone selling an NFT. If they're selling it before floor, now I can say, why are you selling it before floor? Like your paper hands or anything. I can make people feel bad about doing anything. So that could raise the floor of anything through social pressure.
There you go.
Like it's online bullying again, in a sense. And then Big Daddy Coinbase is, oh, this guy's, obviously bothering people, so let's ban him. So like, again, it's controlled area
NFTs.
of social. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's something new. People are excited. Again, they're going to onboard a lot of people to NFTs, but I don't see anything fantastic versus, looks rare that still pays you to list and to sell. And is only 2% versus Coinbase NFT that still has transaction fees. I really thought they were going to do it on their chain with minimal transaction fees, and then when you want to transfer off, you would pay the transaction fees. That would have destroyed the competition. But they're just another space where you can chat, basically. Either scam built into OpenSea.
I was going to say, that seems like there would be their primary competitor, right?
Yeah. OpenSea is basically the king of the mountain. Why they became that, I'm not 100% sure. Versus looks, like Rarible and any of the other ones, but they just became the one to be, and they set the standard. They take credit cards now. They kind of take all kinds of weird stuff. So, again, they're never going to drop a token. They're a U.S. company. I don't see anything that's going to reward the users. It's a very thank you for being us. It's like an Amazon type of thing of NFTs. They're too big to reward the users now. So any new platform should reward users to get people to incentivize. I like looks rare. I mean, you get looks, no matter what the value is, even if it's a penny, they gave you something for using their platform. And that's the essence of Web3.
I agree.
And speaking of giving, something for nothing, Optimism has an airdrop.
Is it happening, huh?
So if you were using Optimism, it's happening. It's real. Like, there was a lot of, talk about it for the last few days. And so, if you use Optimism, signed a multi-sig, did a couple other interactions on the chain, then you're qualified for the airdrop. And that was the first one. They're going to have a few more. So now everybody's going to start using Optimism. Point of the story is try any new platform, try any new product, because they reward you over time, depending on what you use. Unfortunately, I didn't get qualified, even though I am an Optimism and I've done a couple swaps on Uniswap. It didn't show my name. All my signs have been on side chains, though, for Gnosis and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure how they check that, but I know I did this a long time ago, and it just never picked up. So
that's kind of lame.
Now it's like, well, Optimism has an airdrop. Arbitrum is going to have to do something, because otherwise people are going to go to that layer too. So, if you're looking for, he says he shit, I would say try Arbitrum too. Start swapping something on Arbitrum, because they're going to start losing volume because they're going to want Optimism tokens. So Arbitrum is going to have to drop something. Otherwise, they have to come up with something unique for people to come back. But I can't think of anything other than token drop.
Well, and we actually, yesterday we were talking, Edu brought something to our attention called Arbitrum Odyssey. And it looked like a promotional, event where they were collaborating with a couple NFT creators. And although they didn't mention a token drop, it seems pretty obvious that this is almost like setting the groundwork. People do X, Y, and Z and execute certain types of transactions. They receive certain types of NFTs or be eligible for receiving certain NFTs. Seems like laying the ground for some type of whitelist. But we'll see. I don't know. In this case, so like folks are watching the show right now, what types of things would you have had to have done on Optimism in order to be qualified?
Oh, you just had to use it, like do a swap, transact, sign a multi-sig. Gosh, I forget, there was a couple other extra ones that
Just
in there, but just
users, huh?
basically use the network, like
Got it.
try things out, play in it, and they reward you. Like if a new platform comes out and there's no token yet, just assume there's going to be a token. I think that's why we have all these POAP farmers, because they think POAP's going to drop a token. There's no POAPs today, guys. That you can get your ghetto NFT somewhere else.
Yeah, folks. Answer to the question is we don't retroactively visit any single show. If you get a POAP, awesome. If not, then there are plenty of reasons for that. I delegate responsibility of that to those that I trust, and there is no POAP for today's show, as Billy said. So, yeah, I got to admit, man, I've been using Arbitrum more than Optimism, and I don't really know why. It's just I don't know. I've been using the Curve over there ever since you sort of got me onto Curve, and I tend to trust Arbitrum more than these other side chains. I guess I don't know if that's justified or not, but we'll see.
It's your first love, T Wells, on an L2, so that's why you stick to her. You're a loyal guy.
Yeah. I try to be optimistic, but maybe it's some sort of weird reverse psychology.
Yeah, I mean, just the lesson of the day is try every platform, try everything. Try Solana, try Near, try Flow, try all these chains, because eventually, I mean, there's the what if. Yep. What if they reward you? So why not try? Cost you a few bucks, and you go out there. This is the chance for people that don't really have a lot of money to get some money, and it doesn't cost a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, in essence, in a while, to bridge to Arbitrum and to bridge to Optimism was a little bit, but once you're there, now you can live on the ecosystem. You can use L2 chains to play around with, but just try it. Do one swap, one stake, or anything, and then it might pay for you in like a year. Yeah. You never know. That's the lesson of the day, is just try it, because you might get rewarded.
What do you think about, like, for Arbitrum or these others? I know, if you're on Gnosis chain, for example, you can bridge over using like Hop.exchange to either Optimism or Arbitrum, and it's much cheaper. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's cheaper than bridging from mainnet. So I guess if people have capital on side chains and they want to try one of these L2s, Hop.exchange might be something to consider if you already have capital on like an L1. What do you think about that, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, Hopper or Connext. Between those two, that's it. That's all I use back and forth. And Connext is having a drop, so I'm like, hell yeah.
Yep.
They're having another token drop too. I'm like, fuck, shit. Everything I'm doing, like, all right, just drop it, make it rain. I'm waiting for Gnosis chain to make it rain. Come on.
Yeah. I heard about that Connext drop. What is the? Is that only for like their routers, or is it for people who have used it?
I don't know, but if they don't give me money, then I'm going to be upset. That's all.
You'll take it to Twitter.
Okay, I'm going to start some shit. I'm like, now I'm going to go to Hopper. Then fuck that.
Yeah, I was actually doing a sort of comparison of this, and my understanding. So I don't know how much you. Or from a developer perspective, I'm curious to know like your comparative, perspective on Connext versus Hop.exchange. I know that they're different technology. Do you have any insights on one versus the other?
The only insight I have is bridges scare the shit out of me, and I just want to have a way out.
Yeah, man, I saw
that. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So this is what I had. So when Gnosis got hacked, Gnosis, the bridge Agave got hacked. Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was scared. The money I had, I bridged it to mainnet. I didn't want to become a test net with no value, because we didn't know what was going on. Whatever I had, I just bridged to mainnet. That's what made me feel safe. I didn't feel safe on Polygon. I didn't feel safe anywhere else but mainnet, and that's just the truth.
Yep. I went to Arbitrum. I mean, so I actually bridged over to L2. Like, so in that situation, I get it entirely. Do you feel like L2s are significantly safer than side chains, or is it still this like a similar bridging concern? And so like mainnet is the only place if everything else goes to shit. Like,
L2s are safer than side chains, because side chains are basically IOUs in a sense. So I pull $10 of Ethereum, I bridge it over, right? So basically that Ethereum is sitting somewhere on the mainnet with an Ethereum contract, and then it's just basically saying, all right, here's a token on this side chain that is equivalent to $10 that you can redeem back for that $10 of Ethereum, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the chain gets hacked or something gets fucked up and that contract on mainnet gets hacked, when I go to redeem and there's nothing to redeem, then it just became a testnet. You know, like there's no value to it because I can't claim my original mainnet money. So with layer 2, they work hand in hand. So it's a little bit different with rollups and you know, gosh, I forget the other name of what the other technology they use, but basically it's still kind of like one-to-one. There's like still kind of an IOU thing, but it just clears the transactions over time. So it works a little bit differently. That's why they say Polygon is not an L2 because of Plasma and because of the way it works, because it still has that IOU type of function to it.
Got it.
So, I mean, the moment something gets hacked and it gets pulled away on a mainnet, like, you know, if something on mainnet gets hacked or a bridge gets hacked, you know, that literally, so that Solana hack and that Ronin hack, you just became a testnet. You know, it just came as valuable as Rinkeby ETH.
Shit. Enough about that FUD. It's the truth. People should know, right? Be careful of bridges and use burner wallets.
I'm on L2. I use side chains. A lot of my money's on side chain. It's just know the dangers of what you got. You know, don't go in blindly. That's what I say. Like, all right, you can use it. Like, I'll put a sign, caution, don't drink hot. But if you like hot shit, then fucking drink it. You know, it's just know the dangers of what you're getting into, and then you realize, okay, if it does happen, it's like, well, I knew it could have happened. That's all I can say.
Right, you don't want to get blindsided, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't know this existed. Oh, I didn't know this was controlled by a multi-sig and they all got hacked. That's the Ronin hack happened that way. He just got hacked by a multi-sig, you know, all the servers on a freaking, you know, regular chain, and then they got hacked like by North Korea. So it's just the risk that we take for everything that we do. This is still early days, you know, so take it as your own risk.
Right on, man. Word of the wise.
Speaking of risk, MetaMask on Apple, man. What the fuck we found out with this, like, one of the ape holders basically got rugged because his MetaMask seed was being backed up to his iCloud account. So he got a text and said, you know, how to reset your password. So he did that. And so they logged into his iCloud account and they got his seed and they stole all his apes, his money and everything. So like if you're using an iPhone and you have MetaMask in there and you have it being backed up, your seed is in the cloud under your iCloud account. So be careful.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, this has got to be equally vulnerable on the Google Drive side, I would imagine, right? Or at least some similar situation. Like if you backed up your shit to the cloud with any of these large corporations, it's equally vulnerable in some ways. I don't know. I mean, I've always heard that like iCloud and Apple is like more secure than Android. So if this can happen with their system, I imagine.
Who told you that? Apple?
Well, I always got the sense when I was working with developers, like, you know, that they always dreaded trying to build something for the App Store because it was like so much more, it was harder. Like they felt the standards were higher. So I guess I'm just sort of projecting that onto iCloud.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think for Android, because I have an Android, it asks permission to do certain things. Like, would you like to access this? Would you like it to access your microphone? With iCloud, it kind of just does it for you unless you specify not to. So it's a lot of convenience factors, but basically disable that, you know, just turn off your iCloud. If you got sensitive information on there, disable the iCloud. Like all the attacks, like when like all those nudes came out, it was an attack on iCloud, you know, all these famous people and all that, it was iCloud. Like majority of US people, like Android is like 70% of the world, but like US is like 90% Apple. So like the attack is, if I'm going to attack somebody in the US, I'm going to go after Apple, you know?
Interesting. Yeah, I can see somebody like putting in all this exquisite effort to like, you know, keep their you know, their seeds strong in a way, and then they have their iCloud password 12345.
Yeah, exactly.
Apple will keep me safe.
Or you get the text that says, "Hey, reset your password." It's, oh, I don't remember that, and you reset it, and then you get fucked. And you're like, oh shit.
Oh man.
Speaking of that, Bean Protocol got fucking fucked too with a flash loan attack, another flash loan attack. These people just don't learn, but there was a unique one because I think of it like a garden in a sense, like because it happened under like within their own self kind of like governance system. So what the attacker did was create a proposal to drain the vaults and then to also send money to Ukraine, right? So he had two proposals. I guess the Ukraine one was to kind of like let the other one kind of slide under. So they have like a 1-2 day proposal time. So what this guy did is, okay, he set the proposal, then he set up a flash loan through Aave. He swapped Bean on Uniswap. He swapped for LUSD. Then he added liquidity to Curve to get voting power, and then he basically passed his own proposal that he did to drain the wallet, and then left the DAO dry, and then he just dumped it all.
Wow. So
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those.
Ukraine. I'm joking.
Yeah, that's why they all right. At least he gave to Ukraine. What a nice guy, But he basically killed the peg. So anybody invested in Bean got fucked because like the peg went from $1 to 30 cents. But like it's just another one of those, like, you got to be watch out for like what gets passed or not. And that's again another appreciation from OneHive, because you can always challenge proposals on there. But this one unfortunately was not like nobody could challenge it. It just had to play out. And the guy flashed on to buy enough Bean to just pass it on his own. The way he became a whale, passed it, dumped it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, says it all when The Verge decides to quote, "We are fucked." That's the quote exactly. That they choose to highlight on the article.
Well, I mean, they're being odd because they're not VC backed, right. So there's nobody backing them. So it's like, okay, well, what do you do? Same thing with Agave. Like, they're not VC backed. So it's like, okay, well, what do? We don't have the money to reimburse. So, basically it's like, well, we're fucked. There's no hope. Unfortunately that shit happens, but it's like, we have to learn from this. But it's just like, man, it's unfortunate for all the people that invested, and like it's just a shitty feeling, because I remember how I got it, I'm like, man, this feels shitty. What? It wasn't a whole, like, it wasn't my life savings, but it's still fucked. If I lose $20 on the street, I'm still mad too.
Yeah, dude. And how do you, so like if you're looking at this Beanstalk hack, like, and you're reverse engineering, how would you harden a system against an attack like this? Do you have any idea?
Well, there's got to be some kind of challenge period, and that's kind of what OneHive has with Gardens is you have this Celeste kind of system where you say, hey, this doesn't look good, because if someone says let me drain the vault, and they create this proposal, and the whole team says no, but then I create this whole thing and I do a flash loan, and then I have way more tokens that I should be having, I can override that and just pass it myself. So there needs to be like secondary transactions or some kind of place to stop this. And people need to pay attention to proposals too.
Yeah, less than 13 seconds, it said, the entire process.
Yeah. Flash loans. I mean, it didn't cost him anything other than the swap fees, and he paid back, and he just paid it back with all the money he made on the draining the DAO.
Bullish on Celeste. We'll have to make a that effect.
Yeah, as I go deeper into this world, I actually come back to appreciate what OneHive is doing and what they've created with Celeste and all these, God, I can't even remember the name. What is it? Conviction voting. Yeah. Like just having that ability to say, hey, they've really thought ahead of what could be and what could happen. And like, I see it played out. Oh, if they only had Celeste, they would, it would have an opportunity to override this and, stop a whale from doing whatever they wanted to do. And that comes down to like, well, whales were like Cronje, I don't know how to say it. He's South African. He was, once the hero of Web3. He created Yearn Finance and a couple games, and I think he drugged everybody with Solidly or anything like that on Phantom. So he is now joining the enemy.
God.
So he's basically revealed he's made $1 billion in the game in DeFi, right? So Yearn Finance, it depends on how it's a yield aggregator. Depending on how you look at it, it can be vampiric because it's taking platforms and dumping it and then returning it on your initial investment. So it's not really doing any good for platforms, but it's good for the user that say, hey, I want to invest something, and it auto compounds for you. So it's like, is it vampiric or is it, good for the DeFi system? That's left up to the interpreter, but he made money by jumping from platform to platform and creating new platforms. And I've kind of said that before. It's like, well, why isn't he making Yearn better versus making new platforms? And my theory is, you made Yearn, right? And you made $100,000. So I can work hard and try to get 10% more, or I can jump platform on another network and make another 1,000%, on another token.
Right.
And then I can jump another platform and make another 1,000% on something brand new because I have people following me, chain to chain and idea to idea, platform to platform, and I'm having fun and I'm making 1,000 times every time because I am the founder and I minted myself a bunch of tokens and people are just digging with me. So eventually, I mean, DeFi is a thankless job, no question. Ask anybody in DeFi, you have a bunch of whiners and complainers all the time, but you do get paid well. But see, he made himself paid very well, especially with the solidly, whatever that is. And he just basically said, I quit DeFi and disappeared. Then he comes back and says, all right, now he has founded entities to regulate crypto and bring institutions to crypto. So basically he's joined the enemy. Whether the suits got to him or he really believes it, he lived long enough to become the enemy.
God. Well, and it's always wondering, like you're saying, sort of motivations to begin with. I don't know.
Yeah, I was never a fan. Like I was never into like the Frog Nation or anything. That when he joined up with the other guy Daniel, everything it just didn't feel right with me because it's like, well, why are they making new projects when they could be making their other projects more optimized or better? Whether that's limited or like more chance of opportunity. I just saw it like they can 1,000 times again every time they create a new project. They can just 1,000 times again for any new token, any new platform they do. So I was like, and I'm glad I didn't get in because everybody that got in late got fucked.
Yep. So what is his?
But it's just one of those things.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he has his own bank. It's called Segwit Holdings. Mm-hmm. So he wants to be, hold people's assets for them through a bank, basically.
He's on LinkedIn and everything. Look at that.
Oh yeah. LinkedIn is he's legit. He's a suit now.
I thought
he made $1 billion on the DeFi world. DeFi world, $1 billion, and then he funded his own bank. So he became the enemy. He's institutionalized. He wants institutional money. He wants crypto to be regulated now. So I don't know if anybody's holding the gun to him in a sense, but he's basically switched sides.
It's wild, and it probably won't be the last.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you make that much money, you don't really have to do anything. But now it's like, all right, well, now I can be safe, invest, and who knows. But I just didn't like the approach of jumping platform to platform, creating new projects, new dApps, and just kind of 1,000%ing every time. I figured he was just dumping liquidity on all of it, and it just turned out to be true on the very last one.
Yeah, you were on it.
But hey, it's just the way it is, and there's space for new developers. New developers are coming to take that place, create new ideas. ETH Amsterdam was like a big developer event. Chainlink Hackathon is happening right now for literally $500,000 in prizes. So those things are going on all the time. Web3 DAO, I just went through their online courses. Amazing stuff. If you're trying to be a developer, I wish I went through Web3 DAO because their tutorials are so on point and straight to the point to get you up and running like quick. Like I was so lost without direction for a long time and I wasted a lot of time as a developer. Like there's YouTube videos, but you don't really know where to go. They teach you outdated stuff because they have updated the video in 2-3 years. And then when you try to deploy it like on today's current stuff, it's all outdated. Web3 DAO keeps everything up to date. And like I've even learned a few techniques for something that I want to deploy myself in the future. It's just like, shit, I've been looking for this answer for a long time. And it was literally right here in Web3 DAO. And it was so dope. So like big props to the Web3 DAO team for sure. Like be a developer, go through the Web3 DAO. If you're like sophomore level, if you get to the sophomore, you're ready to deploy dApps. You can do any beginner dApps out there. So like if you're on the fence, just go through it.
And this is the web3dao.io. Is that the right spot?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. We got it on screen here. Cool.
They have a Discord and they'll help you go through it. But yeah, I mean, learning everything, front end, back end, Solidity, libraries, the whole deal. They're taking you from the very beginning of the concept of blockchain, all these concepts of the wallet, getting you through code, getting you through hard hat, getting through the front end. It's taking you through the whole thing, HTML, CSS, everything I had to learn in a crunch with no direction. They're giving you direction and then actual projects and projects that build off each other. Like you created a token. Okay, I created a token. Then you created an NFT project where you can claim tokens. Then you can use a DAO to vote with those tokens. And then you can create a DEX with those tokens and swap them and then learn how liquidity works and all this. So it's like, what the fuck? It's like you keep building off your existing projects. I'm like, holy shit, this is what I need. This is what I wanted. and it's so legit. Like I got to give them props. I'm almost done with it. I got so many other things to do, but like they're teaching you the graph, ceramic network. Like it's everything. Like everything that you want to be a contributor for, it's all on there.
That's cool, man. That's very cool. And they've launched a token as well. Is this used for governance, do you know, or is it just coming soon? I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe that's coming soon because they just got funded through a couple of other things and they've been rewarding stuff. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, like all the stuff coming out of ETH Amsterdam, Chainlink Hackathon, and all that stuff. It's all innovative, and it's like that's where you learn. That's where you get the alpha. But one thing I gotta say that I kept seeing on ETH Amsterdam that sucked is this fucking phrase stewards and shit. Like this is the steward of this fucking place. Like who thought of that shit? Is that like a motherfucker that goes into like a Renaissance fair and you fucking thinking of the Queen of England and shit? Like what the fuck? Am I the Duke of Solidity? I don't understand this shit. Like who came with this? This is the same motherfucker that came up with the regen shit. Okay, it's like trying to make chess club cool. It just doesn't work. Okay, like if they made fucking like regen like Cobra Kai is all right. We kick ass for green, then that's better for me. But the steward shit and this regen shit, man, like I just don't get it, man. I can't think of a better name than coordinator. You know, just keep it real.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's the esoteric stuff sometimes is. I find sometimes it can strike a chord and be like really successful, but most of the time it's just esoteric. It's just a little bit hard for the average person to adapt. Like we went through this similar conversation in the concept of labeling a DAO a commons. And again, maybe at like, you know, a philosophical level, I find that interesting. But for the average person, particularly the average American, if they see the word commons, what do they attribute that to? That's
the riffraff.
It must be communism.
That's the riffraff, right?
It must be communism.
I'm a commoner.
Communism. Oh, communist. So it's this sort of, you know, word choice matters in the selection in terms of how your audience is likely to interpret correctly or incorrectly, right? How you've chosen to label yourself or your leaders.
Well, this is my message out to everybody that use stewards. Change the fucking name.
Hey, you know,
please do something. Do something more logical. I mean, maybe you don't want to be called manager because you're anti-corporate or whatever, but do like coordinator or fucking, you know, team leader or maybe people don't want to say leader, but I don't know, team coordinator or some shit like that. But fucking steward, okay. I imagine a motherfucker with like a puffy jacket and shit with a wig saying, oh, "Okay, this is how we're gonna do shit," you know.
I got a good one. I got another one. Here's another one that comes from these all sort of originate from, in my mind, almost from the church. So we could do the deacons. Could be
no. Okay, see
now deacons.
Now we're gonna have a bunch of priests, motherfuckers coming around here.
The high priest of Web3.
No. See, Father Billy doesn't sound right. You know, it doesn't sound too well.
Father Billy with the NFTs.
Yeah. No, it just doesn't work, man. I just think of a better name. Whoever thinks of this stuff, you know, don't surround yourself with yes men. Invite me over. I'm gonna tell you that sucks. Okay.
Oh man.
I'll say it. I'll be the bad guy if I have to, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Right on.
Speaking of speaking my mind, I'm actually gonna be a panelist at Hola Metaverso. So like, remember I was telling you about 2 weeks ago? I was like, I want to speak and make sure it is. They like my style. I made them laugh, so they definitely have me speaking in the blockchain panel on there. So it'll be very interesting to. Sweet. You know, share my knowledge and my kind of blunt style of speaking. I'll be speaking with a couple other blockchain devs, so we're going to see how that works out.
This is next week, right? In LA there? Or no, Saturday.
This Saturday. Yeah, it's in my hometown area. I mean, I have to drive a little bit, but I mean, how can I not be somewhere where like it's outreaching to a lot of people that are interested to learn? So if we're going to learn, you know, we got to make sure that they got it with the right state of mind. You know, I don't want them to be like, hey, this is how you buy an NFT. You know, this is how you buy a board ape. Yeah. You know, like, okay, there's other shit you can do. You know, you can have an ENS, you can do some swaps, you can invest, you can do all kinds of stuff. You know, it's kind of like, just to get into it, I finance my own car using Agave, you know, so I said, fuck it. You know, just a little thing. I got into a car accident a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty bad. We all walked away from it, luckily. But, you know, now we have to get a new car because it got totaled. And I was like, all right, well, now it's probably the worst time to buy a car because of all the markups and all the low inventory. So we were looking at rates, and they're, you know, giving me some crazy rates. I'm like, what? This is insane. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking around shopping in banks, and it's like, it hit me. It's like, I should practice what I preach, And so I forked over my mainnet stuff, dropped it in Agave, borrowed it right back out, and it came back to mainnet, and I financed my own car, borrowing and lending my own assets. So for Agave, it's like, people are like, oh, they just got hacked. It's like, well, anybody that made a mistake, like, I don't say it would say a mistake, but anybody that's gone through that kind of hack, I expect like the whole team to be masters of reentrancy guards now.
Yeah, dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
harder than before.
Yeah, so it's going to be like, they've got so many eyes on that project, and I have to support them because they are one of the only teams that are full and on that haven't doxed systems. Like, for some reason, like, people feel safer when people are doxed. Like, you can buy an online identity for $20. All these KYC hacks. You could buy for. I can have a deep fake and just say, "Oh, here's my LinkedIn and this is my account." Boom, and I can rug you later. So I don't think it makes a big difference whether you're doxed or not doxed at all. Like, who cares? But this team has chosen to stay doxed, and that's kind of a negative against them in today's world. But we got to be able to support that and also show that you don't have to be non-VC funded. Like, you can and still be successful. So I have to support that. Like, so as I had the choice, do I go do I go Compound, do I go Gnosis Chain and do it? So I said, fuck it, let me go in there, put my deposit, borrow right back out. And so I run a risk at about 30%. Like, shit happens or whatever, I lose 30% because at least I walked away with that money and I have it in cash. So it's not like I'm, in depositing it and then fucking like redepositing it and trying to loop it. So now I have a negative interest rate. I'm technically making money by borrowing against myself because of negative interest rate. So theoretically, for now, and again, not financial advice, and talk to your tax man and all this, but technically right now I am in the positive for borrowing. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I was actually thinking of the similar thing where I'm in the market for a new vehicle myself and thought about that. And yeah, I mean, I guess it certainly, well, sure, shit beats any type of rate you're going to find in the market these days. Like, when I explain this to my father and other people, it does blow people's mind that this is even possible in the first place. And his first reaction was, oh my God, the banks must be arbitraging the shit out of this type of thing. But they're not even there yet, right? I mean, maybe at some point they will. But that's a long ways away. In the meantime, we can enjoy it ourselves, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we're ahead of the game. And I mean, who knows how long these rates are going to last, but right. I'm like, instead of paying crazy out of the, I'm making my money, I'm making my own money. I can pay myself back in a sense,
right?
Instead of paying a bank, right? So I'm using my own assets. I'm borrowing against it. So it's not a non-taxable event, at least through my CPA, and I'm mostly unstable. So I don't run the risk of being too liquidated. There's a little bit of ETH and everything. If I get my other stuff back from the hack, then, I'll have a little bit more to play with, but I'm not getting too risky. I'm not maxing it out. I'm not going full degen. I'm pulling out just enough to make sure. And then if rates go crazy, like all of a sudden, like it's 10%, I got a little bit of money to be able to pop that back in. So I'm not doing it stupid and maxing myself out, but I'm just, I'm proving the fact that crypto does work. Borrowing and lending does work. And I'm getting a better rate than any bank can give me. And I did it in 30 minutes, basically bridging over from mainnet, depositing it into Agave, borrowing off it, bridging back to mainnet. And bridging from the Gnosis chain bridge cost me $4. I just waited for a nice gas optimization. So $4 in, $4 out, and then a couple bucks to transfer back, and then cash out.
Yeah. Well, and you're saying in this case, it's a combination of different collateral, right, that you're using.
Primarily stables, but a little bit of ETH, a little bit of GN, not very much, and a couple of different wallets on there, and I just, again, I don't put my whole life savings and everything, but enough to, put a good dent in the down payment. And then I have other financial cash in real life. But yeah, I mean, I figure it's like, either I borrow it or I borrow from myself. And now I'm generating income, but depositing and borrowing. So I'm like, fuck it, win.
Hell yeah. Well, it all goes back to risk tolerance and knowing what you're in it for. And you're not using it to leverage up. It's more of a real use case, which is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. And then if Agave gets hacked again, well then fuck.
Billy, then it'll be double.
But it's only 30%, but it's still yeah. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, this is it.
Definitely never gonna be hacked again.
Yeah, I mean, if they get hacked again, Aave gets hacked, everybody gets fucked. DeFi is destroyed. Everybody's gonna be sad.
What is the latest, by the way, from the Gnosis team? I know the protocol is back up and running. Is there some plan for reimbursement? I haven't followed that up recently.
Yes, yeah. So I think they're gonna have an auction of Agave out. I think through the Gnosis auction, and they're gonna use those funds to pay back 80% of people's lost funds. It's kind of like a time value stamp in a sense. I'm not exactly sure all the details because I haven't sat down and to read all the docs, but it's about 80%. People that played stupid games kind of won out. Like if they were shorting something and the price went up, they got lucky. People that were longing, may or may not be that lucky. But overall, I mean, the money was lost. Glad to get it back, at least some of it back. And then the last 20% is going to be paid, I think, over 2 years. So, again, most of that money wasn't really going to go anywhere. It was just sitting there for investment. So again, for me, it wasn't too detrimental, but there were some degens out there that went all in. So I'm glad that they got at least 80% of their money back that they can use now. And now they're vested into Agave for 2 years. So, it's all going to work out. And, Agave's looking healthy again, man. They're almost at 2 million again. And, they were at 5 million when the hack happened. So it's just growing exponentially. Price is going up. So yeah, the Anon team can do it. Big ups to Luigi. I think Anissa Terra, Green Hornet. What's the other person's name? Shit.
The Monstrosity still working on it. Monstrosity up in there.
Yeah. So big ups to them because they kept true to their, they could have taken off. They could have. Yep. Like, hey, oh well, we got hacked. No big deal. They didn't ask for a handout. They did it in a professional manner. They didn't say cover us 100%. They took some liability with it, and they're trying to do the best of what they can. Non-VC funded. Once again, we were lucky that Gnosis believed in us, but if they didn't, I think it would have hurt them harder in the long term for any new user coming in, because again, VC fundings are reversing everything 100% in the next day. So it's just we got to show support for those guys that are doing it without it and keeping true to their values.
Amen. Right on, man. Hell yeah.
And then the final topic of the day is Elon buys Twitter. So I was stupid enough not to buy Doge when I should have, or Doge when I should have.
I was literally talking on the porch with my neighbor. I was like, I should buy Doge right now and pump like 30%. Yeah, I didn't buy it.
Yeah, I feel like a dumbass. I always feel like I should go with the trend of the people. I can never doubt the emotional movement that people have. Like if something's hot and something's topic, I should just be ahead of the game on there. But I never do. I'm like, whatever. People aren't that dumb, and then they are.
It'll be very interesting to see how this all shakes out, man. Like, I don't know. When he tweeted today, what was it? I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that's what free speech means. I don't know, man. I feel dystopian vibes out the ass with this whole thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll be our savior. Is Musk our savior, Billy?
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
No, he will be whatever he wants to be to make the most money and get the most clout. So if that means, being free speech and everybody loves him, he's going to do that. If that means shutting down somebody, then he's going to do that. It's not doing the right thing. It's doing what's best for him at that time. I feel like in order to pump Doge, he's going to allow tipping on Twitter with Doge. And then all of a sudden that's going to pump. But people don't realize like there is no cap on Dogecoin. Like Bitcoin has 21 million max. Dogecoin has no cap. So as every transaction happens and people get paid out, there's more dilution on the chain. So there's just more and more Doge available on the network. So it's just, I don't know why it keeps going up. It should be going down.
Such is crypto.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, Doge is still in the top 15. Shiba's still in the top 15. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of money. People made a lot of money, but people lost a lot of money too. ETH was 4,000. And if you bought it at the top, it hasn't come back. So you're probably pissed at ETH too. You know what I mean? So it really depends on when you time the market. But, it's just, does ETH have a better chance of going up or does Doge have a better chance? Which would you rather have when it comes crashing down?
Well, exactly. I mean, when it reverses course. Yeah. Oh,
so, it's who knows what happens. But again, there's a lot of decentralized platforms coming. Like Coinbase is now a competitor to Twitter in a sense, because now it's with NFTs and you have your username there. you could easily switch over. Lens protocol is the Aave, decentralized protocol system where your username is an NFT. So, there's a lot of, it's still in early stages, but I mean, there's a lot of competitors right now. So Elon has to, either do something drastic, but he's going to stay relevant. He's like the Kardashians of the tech world. Like he just wants to stay relevant in a sense. That's the key.
Right on. I think that's a good insight, man. Yeah, relevance, and you don't get to where he's at unless you are a supreme opportunist, I think. And I don't necessarily, I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but it just is, right? You have to sort of be really keen to and have very little reluctance to capitalize, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he got made like he looked like a fool when he says, I'm going to improve Doge, and he wanted to be part of Ethereum, and his solution was to increase block size. And then Vitalik said, nope, it doesn't. That's not how it works. And then he looked like a fool.
I couldn't. Yeah, last year I still remember that. That was a moment where I was like, "Wow, yeah, these guys. A lot of people you think are so smart on X, Y, and Z. It's only a matter of time until many of them expose themselves to be more than just shilling."
Yeah, and it's just I mean, people like it. I mean, I think the Tesla stock dropped a little bit. His antics go up and down all the time, but he's entertaining. I mean, like I find him entertaining. Like Trump was entertaining. I used to listen to all the presidential, like stuff because Trump, he would just make a show out of it. So I'd be like, man, this guy's really in charge. But it's just one of those things. So I'm pretty sure I'll be entertained with Twitter and his posts too.
Oh yeah, man, entertainment to boot.
I mean, that's what we're here for. Is me talking shit and just entertaining you guys, and maybe you learn something here and there. That's all it comes down to.
Hey, man, it's all good fun. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, comments, anything they want to ask Billy, feel free to drop it in the One Hive TV chat. GM to everybody who's joining us, of course. It's Jimmy, GM. He appreciated your Duke of Solidity joke, Billy, I think.
I mean, you're going to start seeing me with a puffy jacket and shit. It's like, all right, here we go. I'm now a steward of this fucking whatever DAO.
Well, if people want to follow you on Twitter, man, what is it? What is your handle again? I'm going to pull it up here.
Oh my gosh, it is the stupidest thing. It is WC49358. And the story behind that is I was trying to sign up for like this account somewhere, and literally every name I could think of was taken by some motherfucker. So it was like, fuck. And then I just kind of like slammed the keyboard and then like just put my hand on it, and it became WC49358. And then I got the green light to say, okay. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. That's it. I'm WC49358. And that's how it became my thing. It's like every account that I didn't even bother with became WC49358.
There you go. That's a good story. It's sort of the keyboard rage moment.
There you go. You see? A little bit of the Billyjitsu past,
You did some jitsu on that keyboard.
There you go. You see, I was doing some keyboard karate on that motherfucker, and this, all right, here we go. And now I can have that name anywhere I want. Now people are going to start stealing it. And all those pop farmers that are getting mad at me for no pops are going to steal my name on all of the platforms.
You need to get verified, Billy.
Yeah, no shit. I'm a long way away from verified. Twitter, like, it's been crazy. I've had Twitter for like years, but I never used it, and I started using it like the last few months. And so like people are actually following me now. So I'm like, all right, cool. You following me? You're seeing my shit posts? So we'll see how it goes.
Shit posting is the the guiding light to becoming verified.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna be verified tomorrow all of a sudden.
This is for real though. There's some people. What is it? The fellow who runs Mazzari Crypto. Like, I don't think he's verified yet. And there's some other people. It's just crazy. Sometimes it makes you wonder what their standards actually are. What is it, like a notable mention or something like that in the news? You get verified.
I have no idea how it works, but no, if Elon never hears this, I'm never gonna be verified.
Yeah. Look at this guy. Let's see. Oh no, I'm at the wrong place right now. This guy. What is it? 2-bit idiot. Yeah. Ryan Selkis, he's got over 250,000 followers. He's an interesting, entertaining guy too. 250,000 followers, founded one of the most important, data analytics firms in crypto, and is not verified. Okay. I mean, the blue check mark is non-trivial, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like if you're verified, you're basically risk of being hacked.
This is true. Yeah.
Don't trust the blue check mark. That's it. That's my tip of the day.
What do we got here? So, use burner addresses. Make sure you revoke your permissions and beware blue check marks. It's your security tips.
And don't trust Billyjitsu.
And don't trust Billyjitsu. Hey man, well, it's always a pleasure, man, to hear your insights on all things crypto here.
Yeah, for sure. Again, in another 2 weeks for those that are catching up. It's every 2 weeks. I catch up with all the news. And like 2 weeks here is like 2 months. So like I got to take notes of what's happening. And people forget. Like I already forgot about the bean hack, but that should happen like a week ago. And I was like, man, I need to write this stuff down. So as events happen, I'm taking notes. I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking at contracts. I'm actually working on my own projects. I didn't even mention the NFBeez. We're working on a project. Definitely, it's not dead. It'll never be dead. It's just one of those, like, I'm learning stuff, and anything I learn that's cool, I will implement it. So we're working on something on there as well. Just to give a little alpha is kind of a cube that I've kind of demoed as an early stage. But my plan is, and it's still going to be a vote for everybody, is we're going to give those out. They're going to be claimable 1-to-1 for one NFB for one cube. But inside the cube has like baby NFTs in a sense. And you have to burn that cube to claim that NFT. So you depending on the artists, I'm trying to get more artists in the mix. I am debating on raising the price for the NFB for as well, because anybody that is in the community, I was already had enough time to buy one. So, I want to be able to pay new artists to contribute and, expose new DAOs that work with OneHive. So I'm trying to think of new ways to create that for artists to showcase their stuff, have a little bit of different style. And so, have a fun way to do it. So if you're an NFT holder, you should be able to claim this. And then if you want to keep the cube, cool. If you want to risk the burn and get a new NFT, that's a hot item, you could. So, I'm thinking of different ways that are fun and exciting other than just giving away POAPs or anything. I think that's kind of But something cool, something that would make, holding the NFT fun. And there's a couple other things I have in the works, but I want to get through this project first. And then another reward for Genesis holders for anything like that. So anything I learn that's cool, I'll always bring it back for the bees, anything that supports it. I'm even debating, and this is a hard debate, of taking Honey as a payment for one of the new projects. It would be good for Honey, but I always run that risk of like, well, there's a lot of big Honey holders that will benefit off this, off my work, that might just dump on me. So I'm always, do I want to? Do I not want to? Are they willing to help me in this project? If they are, then shit, let's do it. But if not, then, I'll debate that.
Yep. I hear you on that, Ben. And this is sort of maybe the next like V2 you're thinking here with these, with the cubes, or like the next iteration.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I have, and I'll be honest about, like, some of the artists kind of just disappeared, and no big deal. And I think some of the community interaction was a failure because we didn't really get any community feedback or anything. Some did, and some didn't, and all good. But it's like, all right, well, now it's time to revamp new artists that want to contribute. It's time, like, there's been new connections with different DAOs and different organizations. We have Hedgy Finance, Giveth, there's quite a few, interactions that we have with different people. Let's represent them. I mean, that the project should keep going on and keep building as more connections and more partnerships are made. So, it's hard to fund it because, again, I've promised all these artists this payment. So, that's limited to that. We got the DAO hack, but now we get a refund. So like, all right, let's start paying the new artists some new stuff and bring more life to the bees. I'm learning new things like I learned from Web3 DAO. So let's make something fun out of it, something cool. So that's my goal. I'll be, looking around for new artists that have different styles and maybe come up with a theme or let it be crazy, maybe a garbage pail theme, but anything like, whatever they want. I don't want to stop people's creativity, but I want it to look cool. I don't want some whack shit,
I hear you on that. Well, this cube is far from whack. I dig it, man. I saw this last week or whatever and really liked it.
So yeah, I mean, we're going to clean that up. We're going to see what else. I mean, 3D art is super cool. We'll see 2D arts. Anna with the girl and the honey was pretty dope too. So like, I just want artists to like be creative and just do it. And like, if you were early supporter, we are. Everything's going to go to a vote, right? Like, I'm trying to be as decentralized as possible. So like, if people don't vote to raise the price, then we won't. If people don't want to burn it, then we're not. So we're still all up in the air. It's I got to build the contract. There's a lot of things for me to do, but there's always going to be something going on. Like anything I learn, this is going to be my baby project. So it's always that first deployment, my first project. So I'm always going to have love for it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, so are the holders. I'm not some whale, but I got my NFBeez chilling. So I'll look forward to
me
whatever
too. Shit, when the developer is buying, his own shit, then it's something worth holding on to.
This is true. You're not jumping projects like Andre.
I didn't just give myself. I didn't give myself. I can see teams that give themselves like 400 NFB. Like I got 2. The whole team each got 2. And any other B that I got, I had to buy it myself with my own money. So I try to be as fair as possible. Like I don't want anybody, oh, this team did this or that. Like I bought every one of them with my own money. Like I didn't get, any cheaper discount or anything like that, other than paper hands on Epor, and there's no more paper hands. So like, damn.
You are the man, Billy. You're the man.
Yeah. So anyways, till 2 weeks, some more news. I'll let you know how this panel goes and, what crazy thing I say and whose friends I make and whose enemies I make. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. Well, keep an eye on your Twitter for the news there from that panel you'll be on this weekend. Everybody follow Billy on Twitter and join us again in 2 weeks. Well, join us again tomorrow, by the way. We got actually another show tomorrow as well, by the way, folks, if you're around for NFTs. But thank you, Billy, man, for your insights, as always.
All right, my guys. Have a good one, guys. Have a good night. And make that extra wallet, y'all.
Cheers, everybody. Take care, Billy.
See ya.